The mainstream media is utterly and completely humiliated as Joe Biden's sexual assault allegations have begun exploding out of control. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's video. You know, it's really nothing short of a stunning scandal, really, if you think about it, the way the media has so deliberately attempted to bury this story. So we're going to take a look at the new evidence that's just surfaced that's corroborating the allegations and how it's all blowing up in the mainstream media's face. You're going to absolutely love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, super happy Monday to you. If you're looking for a daily white pill of encouragement to help you counter all the ridiculous fake news that's out there from the corporatist globalist media, you have found your oasis. We analyze current events in light of some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. This is your daily white pill of encouragement and unshakable optimism. Now, before we get into the latest on the allegations against Biden, I am so excited to tell you about what's called the Christendom curriculum. It's a brand new Christian nationalist homeschool curriculum. Now, many of you over the years have written in asking about something just like this. And folks, I'm happy to announce it is finally here. The Christendom curriculum is the homeschool version, really, of this channel's message of hope and optimism that we now have the privilege of passing down to our children. In fact, the creators of the curriculum were kind enough to tell me that this channel was one of the primary inspirations for their work. It's so exciting. The Christian curriculum is a full 6 to 12 homeschool curriculum that gives your kids a solid education in the Bible and the great books of Western civilization. But what makes the Christendom curriculum truly unique is its emphasis on Christian nationalism and winning the culture wars. And so to that end, they have a huge digital library for your kids covering all the major issues of our day: nationalism, globalism, social justice, multiculturalism, you name it. It's the perfect homeschool curriculum for any fan of this channel. Now, they're offering a crazy low price for a one-year membership for your entire family, so don't wait another minute. Click on the link below or go to ChristendomHomeschool.com to join. Tell them Dr. Steve sent you. You'll be glad you did. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Some new evidence has surfaced that's bolstered the allegations against Joe Biden of sexual misconduct. As I'm sure many of you are by now aware, a woman by the name of Tara Reid has accused Biden of inappropriate behavior when she worked in a Senate office back in 1993. Remember that year, 1993. She claims that Biden touched her inappropriately when she was in her mid-20s. She gave her full story to Rolling Stone's Katie Halper in a podcast interview where she describes the graphic incident that allegedly involved Biden pinning her against the wall of his office and inappropriately touching her. And then apparently after he was done doing his thing, he pointed to her and said, "You're nothing to me." And when she later revealed what Biden did to her many years later, this woman, Tara Reid, claims that she was tarred and feathered as a Russian agent who was doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin. And so she has, as of a couple of weeks back, officially filed a complaint with the Washington, D.C. Police Department charging Joe Biden with sexual misconduct. Now, up until this point, we only had the allegations without any solid corroboration. But now we have newly discovered evidence from almost 30 years ago, which offers some pretty dramatic and surprising support for Tara Reid's claims. As it happens, Tara Reid claimed that she informed her mother of the alleged assault right after it happened, and that her mother called in to Larry King's CNN show that was airing at the time to talk about the issue. Well, as it so happens, a clip from a 1993 episode of Larry King Live on CNN has surfaced that features a call from an unnamed woman who was seeking advice for her daughter, who was a staffer in Washington, D.C., working for what she said was a very prominent senator. And her daughter reported that she was having problems there and didn't want to go to the press because of just how prominent this senator was. Take a look.
San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
Or she had a story to tell, but out of respect for the person she worked for, she didn't tell it.
That's true.
Now, to be fair, the woman on the phone did not mention sexual assault explicitly, but this call would have been right at the time the alleged sexual assault happened, 1993, and thus it offers corroboration for at least part of Tara Reade's testimony. And it does something else. As the Washington Examiner recently noted, Tara Reade's sexual assault allegation now officially has more evidence than Christine Blasey Ford's accusations against Judge Brett Kavanaugh 2 years ago. Now, the irony here is that you'll, of course, recall that those accusations against Kavanaugh, completely unsubstantiated, nevertheless sent the media into an absolute and total feeding frenzy. And I want us to just recall how insane the media coverage got when it came to Christine Ford's accusations against Brett Kavanaugh, just in case we forgot. You had the New Yorker's publication of the baseless, completely baseless allegations made by Deborah Ramirez, where she claimed to have witnessed Kavanaugh drunk and flailing his genitals at her at a party. Neither she nor the New Yorker included any other attendee at the party that could corroborate her story. Next, you had the obnoxiously fallacious reporting on the term Devil's Triangle from Kavanaugh's high school yearbook. Now, keep in mind, high school yearbook, okay? And then when asked about what was meant by his participation in this Devil's Triangle at the hearings, Kavanaugh said it was a dumb drinking game he played with quarters and 3 cups, and 7 witnesses corroborated that. But Politico and the Huffington Post came out and accused Kavanaugh of lying, instead saying that it was a reference to a group sex act. A third attempt by the corporatist media to destroy Kavanaugh came from New York Magazine, which actually spread as legitimate news the creepy porn lawyer Michael Avenatti's claim that he had what he called significant evidence that Kavanaugh was involved in drugging and gang raping girls during high school. That significant evidence turned out to be the unsubstantiated accusations coming from his client Julie Swetnick, who of course turned out to have absolutely nothing of substance against Kavanaugh. But not to be outdone, NBC put forward their own 4th allegation of sexual misconduct against Brett Kavanaugh. But the problem there was that it was a letter sent to them with no evidence, no names, and on top of all that, the letter itself was anonymous. And yet, it was reported as real news by NBC, as a real allegation on top of all the others. There was as well a 5th allegation by a man who said he heard about Kavanaugh sexually assaulting a friend of his, but again, he remained anonymous and offered no corroborating evidence, and the fellow later recanted, saying that he may have been mistaken, but both CNN and The Hill's coverage of the reported allegation made no mention that the man had recounted, and such recanting has yet to hit the New York Daily News. They still have that story up on their website. It's entitled Brett Kavanaugh Questioned About Alleged Sexual Assault on Rhode Island Boat in 1985. 2 years later, the fake news continues to fester at the Daily News there. Now, I bring all this up because I want us to all just sit back and just contrast the absolute discrepancy between the mainstream Marxist media and how they're covering Tara Reade's accusations against Biden and the way they covered Christine Ford's allegations against Kavanaugh. This radical, antithetical discrepancy is a total disgrace to an already disgraceful mainstream media. Again, they don't even attempt at this point to hide their complicit left-wing bias anymore. It's technically known as the pardonization of the news media. It's very similar. We've talked about this before. It's very similar to what we're seeing with late-night television with the likes of Colbert and Kimmel explicitly coming out and saying they don't want Trump supporters watching their shows. Colbert has made getting rid of Trump the heart of his political sarcasm, which isn't even remotely funny anymore. It's all such a dramatic departure from the days of Johnny Carson, right, that sought to unite the nation in fun and good humor, and indeed high culture of late-night television. Carson would feature classical musicians like the violinist Itzhak Perlman or the cellist Yo-Yo Ma. Late night was such a class act The television, Carson himself was classic. Those days are dead. As it is with the mainstream news media, right? They don't even pretend to be objective professional journalists anymore. They are diehard left-wing activists, and they've embraced the role of being on the front lines of the resistance against Trump and his supporters. But nevertheless, despite their best attempts at ignoring Tara Reade's accusations, despite their best attempts at burying this whole story, it is exploding. And they're clearly losing control of it. Now, to their credit, Fox News has been on the forefront of this. Together with Tucker Carlson, he's made the Biden accusations a centerpiece of his latest coverage. Same with Hannity, Laura Ingraham. FoxNews.com has been running a number of stories on how CNN and MSNBC have been deliberately ignoring these allegations, even though they covered the allegations against Kavanaugh relentlessly 24/7. As it turns out, with the Tara Reade allegations now exploding out of control, particularly with this new evidence that's emerged from CNN, of all places, right, 30 years back, right around the time the alleged incident happened, we're finding that Tara Reade's allegations are not merely implicating Joe Biden. They are also implicating the mainstream media. As things turns out, we may be seeing two actors brought down as a result of these allegations: a Democratic presidential nominee, as well as the mainstream mouthpiece for the Democratic Party that has now lost any and every shred of what little credibility remained. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how out of touch with reality leftist liberals actually are. A Harvard professor is calling for the banning of homeschooling in the midst of the fact that literally the entire world is currently homeschooling. You're going to get a real kick out of it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.